Good night. How everyone doing tonight? God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma J, a spiritual divine. I'm here to speak with your word on today. And the topic gonna be David and the giant. Now you remember David. Okay, David was a little boy, and when he beat that giant, and size doesn't matter. You're gonna come from First Samuel 16, verse 7 through I'm not gonna go verse by verse. But David was a little boy when he was chosen by God. Now God look at the heart. God look at the heart when he chose someone. Sometimes you're a star seed being chosen, or sometimes you're a boy, or you grown and God chose you, but He'll chose you from your heart. Now that's why that's why when God told Samuel to go to Jesse, because I had chose one of his boys, for him to anoint him to be king over Israel. So when he got there, so God had already told him, don't consider stuff, don't look at the appearance, don't look at the height, don't look at the outward appearance. So God don't look at the appearance, God don't look at the height, He don't look how good you look. God always picks someone that look unique. So He already told Samuel, don't look at all that. Look at the one that He picked. See, Samuel don't know which one he picked. All he told him is that he had one of Jesse boys that gonna be king over Israel. So Samuel got there. So down the line, David will fight this giant. And now this giant gonna be 9 feet tall. 9 feet tall. He gonna be wearing a helmet on his head. And I preach on that. That's one of the pieces of armor of the God. Armor of the God. So that's one of the 7 pieces of armor of the God. Okay, so First Samuel 16:1. So that's what God told Samuel to go to Jesse's house and bring his sons out so he can let him know which one he had chosen. So Jesse have 8 children, but he brought only 7 children out. He brought 7 children out. So God like, no, they have one more. They got one more. What ask him where his youngest child at. See, he had the youngest child that was out in the field. So time the child got back from the field, God said, no him. That's the one. That's the one. And see, Jesse did not want David, to be picked because Jesse always did treat David like like not one of his other children. He always was in the field. Now Saul is the king. Saul is the king. So now God about to make David a king. So I mean God gonna pull Saul down, and then God spirit gonna depart from Saul. And that's when Saul gonna have the evil spirits in him. He's gonna have the evil spirits in him, and it gonna torment him. So God had favor over David's life since he was a boy. Now, 1 Samuel 17:37. Now the Lord who delivered. Now David said that he had to fight the giant, right? And he ain't nothing but a little boy. So David had said, the Lord who delivered him from the paw of a lion and a bear. See, he always worked in the field. So he said, God deliver him from the lion, from the bear. So he said he know God gonna deliver him from this giant. This giant that was 9 feet tall. So David is getting ready to fight against this giant. Now he getting ready to fight the giant. So Saul helping him dress. So they're gonna come from 17 verse 38, 42. Okay, so now Saul is helping David get dressed. Okay, so he put on a coat of the army of him, the hammer on his head, and David fastened his swan over the tiny to try walking around because he was not used to it. David, he wasn't used to wearing all that. See, David worked in the field. All he needed was his flashlight and his little stone. That's all he needed. So he cannot go in these. He said, now he said to Saul, because I am not used to this. So he took them off, and then he took his staff in his hand, closed 5 smooth stones from the stream, and put them in a pouch in his shepherd bag. Now he had his little bag. He put the little rocks in there in the slingshot. That's all he needed. So with his slingshot in his hand, he approached the Philistine, and meanwhile the Philistine with his shield bearing in front of him kept coming closer to him. So he looked at David over and saw that he was only a boy. Now this big old giant looked down and saw that this ain't no more little boy. So he figured that he had this here. This not knowing that David was gonna have power over him. Now he said to David, I'm a dog that you come at me with sticks. Now he said David come at him with sticks. Now in the Philistine cursed David by the God, and come here, he said, and I give your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. Now David said to the Philistine, you come against me with a sword and a spear, but I come against you with the name of the Lord mighty. And see, that's why I always tell y'all, the name of the Lord is powerful. Now he that's all he needed. He needed the name of the Lord and his little slingshot. That's all he needs to fight against this big old giant. And this big old giant is 9 feet tall. So this day the Lord hang you over to me, and I'll strike you down. Now this boy talking that God gonna give you over to me, and he said he gonna strike him down. Now he not only gonna just strike him down, he gonna cut off your head. Now remember, he worked in the field, so he trained. He trained to fight animals, but he treating this giant like he's one of the animals in the field. So today I will give you carcasses of the Philistine, army of the birds and the beasts on the earth, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. Now you know anything, any battle you in, it's always God gonna get the glory. God gonna get the glory. All those who gather here will know that it is the sword of the Spirit that the Lord said. For the battle is the Lord. So all our battles is for the Lord. The battle is for the Lord. The battle never for us. So God when you in a battle, God gonna be right there. He always used to tell the Israelite, I'm gonna be ahead of you. God gonna be ahead of you, behind you, on side of you. He was with David in that battle. Because David said he delivered him from the bears, he delivered him from the lions. Said he know my God gonna deliver me from you. And he said when God give him to him, he said he gonna strike you down and then take your head off. So he will give you into his hand. So we see that those sides doesn't matter. So Jesse called out his 7 children, but now you have 8 children. So God knew that there was one more child. So Saul the king put God and put down his David. David will be king. So now the spirit of the Lord depart from Saul. So the spirit from the Lord tormented him, and God had favor over David since he was a boy. Now the Lord who delivered him from the lions and the bear would deliver him, and God did. God delivered him. God put that giant into his hand, and David did what he would say he was gonna do. So David getting ready for the fight, and Saul dressing. So Saul dressing him with all kind of stuff, and the stuff was so heavy on David. David couldn't hardly walk. David said, "I'm not used to this here. You know, I'm used to my little backpack, my little swing shop, and my stones in the name of the Lord." That's all he said he needed. And the Lord said, for the battle is the Lord. So the battle always gonna be for the Lord. And no matter what problem, what stone, what situation you in, God gonna always get the glory. Like with my life, God gonna get the glory out of me. God gonna get the glory out of me. So we see that David trampled over the Philistine with a slingshot and stones. And without the sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. Then took his head. Then David took his head, took it to Jerusalem, showing everybody. Now David stand against the giant with the name of the Lord and his defense. Now the name of the Lord is our defense. It's our defense. Now David had confidence. Now he's a little boy. Now for you to go against a big old giant, you have to have confidence. And you got to have the name of the Lord by your side. So he had confidence to stand against this giant that was 9 feet tall. Now God mighty works is putting the overcome of the battle in God's hands. Now David does not base his confidence in his own expert or something that he can do. He placed his confidence in God's power. Now we saw that. He said, I'm going out with the name of the Lord. So he put his confidence not in himself, but he put it in the power of God. He put his name in the power of God. So he ain't went out there to confidence on himself. In himself. He put the confidence in God. Put the confidence in God. Not have 5 powerful things of like lesson that David had went through. Now, number 1, be bigger than your fear. Because see, David didn't have no fear. David had confidence. He know he was a boy. He was about this side over this big old giant. And he didn't have no fear at all. He had confidence. So be bigger than your fear. No matter what size you is. Now 2, size doesn't matter. David knew size didn't matter. Because when they said, now who gonna fight the Philistines? David said, I do, and they're looking down at him like, oh, okay, you as a child. But we remember he is trained to work in the field, dealing with animals and stuff like that. And he treat that giant like he was one of those animals. Now 3, make sure of what you already have. Oh, make sure what you have is you already have. What you have is already here. Now what David had, he had a slingshot and he had the name of the Lord. And you make use of what you have. And that's what it is. Make use of what you already have. So all he had was his little slingshot and the name of the Lord. So sometimes when you go to battle, sometimes you might not have time to get stuff. So make use of what you have. That's why everywhere I go, I bring a little small Bible with me. Because you never know what situation going to happen. And sometimes you have to stop wherever you at and just start praying. You have to start praying. Because the name of the Lord is very powerful. All you say the name of Jesus. Name of Jesus is very powerful. You could just say that name and things may change. So 4, believe it's possible. Now that big old giant he had to deal with. Now he believed that he was going to take the giant down. Because remember, he said, I'm going to take you down and then I'm going to take your head off. So he believed it was possible that he going to take that giant down. And he also had confidence. He had confidence that he was going to win. He had confidence that he was going to beat that giant down. He had confidence that he was going to take his head off. Okay, now 5, don't estimate yourself. Don't estimate yourself. Don't never think that you can't do it. You got to have confidence. You got to have faith. And you have to believe that you can take down the impossible. You get the impossible. That's just like my battle. My battle is uncertain, impossible, but I still been hanging on. Still been hanging on. You got to keep on hanging on. Because anything that's impossible, God can turn into possible. So you have to, no matter what size you is, size doesn't matter. No matter how big your problem is, let your problem be bigger than your fear. Because God don't like fear. He said the fear don't come from him. And make sure you use what you have. Make use of what you have. And believe that you can take down the possible. Believe you can take down the possible. And don't estimate yourself. Always have confidence that, yes, I can. And yes, I will. So we see that they use some of these pieces from the army of God. The hammer, the giant had the hammer on his head. And so when David knocked him down, that hammer was heavy. They said it was had so many pounds on it. That hammer was heavy. So when David knocked him down, the hammer came off his head. So that was a powerful hammer that came off his head. So that was a powerful slingshot he had. So he well trained. He well trained. So we see that it doesn't matter what size you is when you in a battle. Long as you have confidence, and you got the name of the Lord right there beside you. Cause see, when you in a battle, God gonna be in front of you. God, He used to always tell the Israelite, "You go ahead on. I'm gonna be ahead of y'all. I'm gonna be ahead. I'm gonna always be right there. Cause see, in the battle, you ain't God gonna always be in the mix. That just like what this said. This said God, the battle is for the Lord. So God will always be in the mix of it because the battle is for God. He gonna always get his glory out. Now David made history with this here. David made history. And God was in the mix of his battle. And he was now God had favored him. God favored David. Now when David grew up, he started doing all kinds of stuff. He had so many wives and killed the man, killed the woman, husband for her. So he did a lot of stuff as he was that when he got grown. But as a boy to a teenager, God favored David. And all David, he was well trained because he was working in the field. He was well trained. And he said all he needed was the name of the Lord and his slingshot. That's all he needed. And that's all we have to do. You have to read that word, because the word, that's all you need. Especially these days with dealing with the spiritual warfare. Now he was dealing with a physical warfare battle. But some of us dealing with spiritual warfare. And you need that word. You need that word. The word is very powerful. It's very powerful. So you'll want to keep a little Bible with you, or memorize. I memorize Psalms 23 and Psalms 121. You will try to remember some of the songs, and everywhere you go, you feel down, you feel sad, or whatever. Cause see, David wrote most of these songs. David and Moses, David was an excellent writer. He wrote a lot of these songs. A lot of these songs is very powerful. I read these songs every day. I read these songs every day. They have different songs that you can read that's very powerful, like 91, 27, 23. I mean, pretty much all of them is pretty good and powerful. So I hope y'all enjoy this word. And remember, size doesn't matter when you in a battle. Long as you have God. Because see, God is a mighty God. And when the whole armor against you, that's all you need is God on your side. That's the best thing you need. God. God gonna be right there in front of you, back you, on the side of you. He gonna always have your back. He gonna always have your back. So I hope y'all have a blessed night. And remember, always remember, that's all you need in your battle is God. Because see, the battle belongs to the Lord. And see, God gonna always be near you when you're in your trial. Sometimes you might feel like he's quiet, but he always near. He always near. Just keep on praying. Don't never stop praying. Keep on praying and keep on reading. Keep on reading and keep on praying. Have a blessed night.